A random guy DM'd me saying, "Stay away from my girlfriend." When I found out who his girlfriend was, I responded, "That's my wife of 10 years. And you're the affair she confessed to last night. Meet me at this address." The message request came through at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was on the couch, half watching some documentary about ocean predators, half scrolling through my phone in that mindless way you do when you're trying to avoid thinking about real things. The notification lit up my screen, a name I didn't recognize. "No mutual friends." I tapped it. "I know you've been talking to my girl. Back off before this gets ugly." I actually laughed, out loud, like a genuine bark of confused amusement. I'm a 36-year-old software engineer who works from home. My most exciting social interaction is my weekly Zoom call with my team and maybe grabbing coffee at the same cafe where the barista knows my order. I'm not talking to anyone's girlfriend. I'm married. I was about to ignore it, clearly a wrong number. Some gym bro threatening the wrong guy, but something made me click his profile. Call it instinct, call it fate, call it whatever you want. His header photo loaded slowly, pixel by pixel. Him kissing someone at what looked like a beach bonfire, golden hour lighting. Her face turned toward the camera, laughing into the kiss. My wife. My entire body went cold. That specific kind of cold that starts in your chest and radiates outward until your fingertips go numb. I zoomed in. Same smile, same birthmark on her left cheek, same silver bracelet I bought her for our 8th anniversary. The photo was dated 6 weeks ago. The caption, "My whole world." I'd been married to Sarah for 10 years. We met at a mutual friend's wedding, one of those perfect rom-com stories where we were seated next to each other and spent the entire reception talking while everyone else danced. She was an elementary school teacher with a laugh that made everyone around her smile. I was the awkward tech guy who somehow made her laugh harder than anyone else could. We got engaged after 18 months, married at a vineyard in Sonoma, honeymoon in Costa Rica, the whole 9 yards. For a decade, we built a life. We bought a 3-bedroom house in a planned community with an HOA that sent passive-aggressive emails about lawn maintenance. We adopted a golden retriever named Baxter. We had Sunday morning rituals, pancakes, crossword puzzles, NPR in the background. She taught 2nd grade. I wrote code. We were normal, comfortable, happy, I thought. But sitting there on that couch, staring at that photo, every single strange moment from the past 4 months came flooding back with brutal clarity. Sarah had started going to yoga classes on Tuesday and Thursday evenings around September. She'd never been into yoga before, but I encouraged it, thought it was healthy. She started dressing differently, not dramatically, but subtly. New jeans, brighter lipstick. She'd check her phone during dinner and smile at messages, then put it face down on the table. "Just the teacher group chat," she'd say. "Melissa's complaining about her principal again." I believed her. Why wouldn't I? 3 months ago, she started working late twice a week. Parent-teacher conferences, she explained. The new curriculum requires more documentation. I ordered her favorite Thai food and left it warming in the oven. She'd come home at 9 p.m., eat quietly, say she was exhausted, and go straight to bed. 2 months ago, I noticed she'd changed her phone passcode. We'd always had an open phone policy, not because we checked on each other, but because we trusted each other. Her old code was our wedding date. The new one, I discovered when I tried to check the weather on her phone one morning, was different. When I asked about it casually, she said her school required more security for anything that accessed student information. Made sense. I dropped it. Last month, she started showering immediately when she got home from work, every single day. Before, she'd come home, change into sweats, and we'd cook dinner together. Now she'd walk in the door, barely say hello, and head straight to the bathroom. 20-minute showers. When she emerged, her phone would be in her hand, and she'd be texting. "Everything okay?" I asked once. "Just stressed about work," she said, not looking up. I told myself I was being paranoid. That 10 years of marriage had made me complacent, and she was just changing, growing, finding new interests. People evolve. It's healthy. But Wednesday night, less than 24 hours before that message, she'd come home at 10:30 p.m. I was still awake, working on a project deadline. She walked into my office, her face blotchy and red. She'd been crying. "We need to talk," she said. Those 4 words. I felt my stomach drop even before she said anything else. We sat at the kitchen table, the same table where we'd eaten 1,000 meals, paid bills, planned vacations, argued about whose turn it was to take Baxter to the vet. She folded her hands in front of her, staring at them like they belonged to someone else. "I made a mistake," she said finally. Her voice was barely a whisper. "I've been seeing someone. It started 3 months ago. It was stupid. It didn't mean anything, but it happened, and I need you to know." I didn't say anything. I couldn't. My brain was trying to process the words, but they wouldn't arrange themselves into anything that made sense. "It's over now," she continued, tears starting again. "I ended it today. I told him I couldn't do it anymore, that I love you, that I want to fix this. Fix us." "Who?" I finally asked. My voice sounded strange, distant. "Someone from the gym. It doesn't matter who. He doesn't matter. The yoga classes." She nodded, not meeting my eyes. "The late nights at work." Another nod. "How many times?" "Please don't." "How many times, Sarah?" "I don't know, maybe 15, 20? I wasn't keeping count. 20. I did the math automatically. Twice a week for 3 months. 12 weeks. 24 potential times. So not every time, but close enough. Close enough that it wasn't just a mistake. It was a pattern, a routine, a second life. I'm so sorry, she kept saying. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I did it. I felt invisible. You're always working, and I just wanted to feel wanted again. But it was wrong. So wrong. And I know I hurt you, but please, can we try to fix this? I sat there for what felt like hours, but was probably only 10 minutes. Finally, I stood up. I need to think, I said. I grabbed my keys, got in my car, and drove. Nowhere specific. Just drove through empty streets until I ended up in a 24-hour grocery store parking lot at 3 a.m. I sat there watching the fluorescent lights flicker inside the store, watching the night shift workers restock shelves visible through the windows, watching my breath fog up the windshield. I didn't cry. I felt like I should, but nothing came. Just this vast, hollow numbness. I got home at 5:30 a.m. Sarah was in bed, presumably asleep. I lay down on the couch and stared at the ceiling until sunrise. When she came downstairs at 7, dressed for work, I was still on the couch. She made coffee, poured me a cup, set it on the table next to me. I called in sick today, she said. We should talk more. Go to work, I said. I need space. She hesitated. Okay, but we'll talk tonight, please? I nodded. Not because I wanted to, but because I didn't have the energy to argue. She kissed me on the forehead before she left, like nothing happened, like she hadn't just told me she'd been sleeping with someone else for 3 months, like our marriage wasn't currently bleeding out on our kitchen floor. The door closed. I heard her car start, heard her drive away. That's when I picked up my phone to mindlessly scroll, trying to distract myself from the disaster my life had become. That's when his message came through, and suddenly, the numbness evaporated, replaced by something sharp and bright and clarifying. Rage, maybe, or justice, or just the simple, brutal truth that I was done being the person who didn't know what was happening in his own life. I scrolled through his profile. His name was Marcus Chen, 28 years old, personal trainer. Every photo was either at the gym or at some scenic outdoor location, flexing. His bio, living my best life, no regrets. There were more photos of them together, a hiking trail, a restaurant I didn't recognize, her in his passenger seat, hand on his shoulder while he drove. That one was from 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, she'd told me she was going to a school district seminar on Saturday, all day. She came home exhausted, she said. I went back to his message, stared at it. I know you've been talking to my girl. Back off before this gets ugly. The sheer audacity, the absolute delusion. This guy genuinely thought I was some other man trying to move in on his girlfriend. He had no idea he was the affair. She'd told him. What? That she was single? Separated? That I was some creepy ex who wouldn't leave her alone? I started typing. That's my wife of 10 years, and you're the affair she confessed to last night. I paused, then added our address. Meet me here at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Let's talk. His response came in 45 seconds. Bet, I'll be there. I sat back. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from adrenaline, from purpose. For the first time in 18 hours, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I opened my laptop and Googled emergency divorce attorney consultations. Found one with availability that afternoon. Mitchell Patterson, 32 years practicing family law, specializing in high conflict divorces. I booked the 1 p.m. slot. Then I started documenting. I took screenshots of every photo on Marcus's profile, every caption, every location tag. I went through our credit card statements for the past 3 months and highlighted charges I didn't recognize. A hotel in the next town over $187 on a Tuesday night when she said she had curriculum planning. A restaurant 40 minutes away, $73 on a Thursday when she supposedly had yoga. I found the receipt for the bracelet I'd bought her, $340. Our anniversary was in June. The photo of them at the bonfire was from early October. She was wearing it then too. By noon, I had a manila folder an inch thick. At 12:45, I left for the attorney's office. Mitchell Patterson was exactly what I expected. Late 50s, gray at the temples, expensive suit, firm handshake. His office smelled like leather and old books. Tell me what's going on, he said, settling into his chair. I handed him the folder, told him everything. He took notes on a yellow legal pad, barely reacting except for the occasional nod. When I finished, he leaned back. First, I'm sorry you're going through this. Second, you've done my job easier by documenting everything. Third, California is a no-fault divorce state, which means the affair doesn't impact the divorce itself, but this evidence is helpful for other aspects. How do you want to proceed? Fast, I said. As fast as legally possible. Do you own property together? The house. Both our names on the deed and mortgage. Joint accounts? Checking and savings. Do you want the house? I thought about it. That house was supposed to be our forever home. We'd painted the walls together, planted the garden, built the life I thought we had. No, I said. She can have it. And the mortgage payment. I just want out. Mitchell made more notes. That simplifies things significantly. I can have papers drawn up by end of day tomorrow. Standard 6-month waiting period in California, but we can file immediately. Given that you're willing to walk away from the house house and split everything else 50-50. There's no reason for this to be contentious unless she makes it contentious. How much will this cost me? My retainer is $5,000. If it stays uncontested, probably another $2,000 to $3,000 total. If she fights it, could go higher. I thought about the money I'd been secretly saving for the past 3 years, an emergency fund I'd never told Sarah about because I handled our finances and she'd never asked. $18,000 in a separate account. Money from freelance projects, a small inheritance from my grandfather, tax returns I'd deposited separately. I'd been saving it for a surprise vacation, maybe a trip to Japan she'd always wanted to take. Now, it would pay for my escape. Let's do it, I said. I signed the retainer agreement, shook his hand, walked out into the afternoon sunlight, feeling lighter than I had in years. When I got home, Sarah's car was in the driveway. She'd come home early. I walked in to find her in the kitchen, making dinner, chicken parmesan, my favorite. Hey, she said, voice nervous. I thought I'd make something nice, so we could talk. I looked at her, really looked at her. 10 years, a decade of my life, and I didn't recognize the person standing in front of me. I have some things to take care of, I said. I'll be in the office. I spent the evening packing, not everything, just essentials. Clothes, laptop, documents, photos I actually cared about, things that were mine before her. I packed methodically, quietly, while she moved around downstairs. I could hear her checking her phone, typing, deleting, typing again. Around 8 p.m., she knocked on the office door. Dinner's ready. I'm not hungry. Silence. Then, please don't shut me out. I know I messed up. I know I destroyed your trust, but we can fix this. We can go to counseling. I'll do whatever it takes. Okay, I said, because it was easier than arguing, because I needed her to leave me alone so I could finish what I'd started. She seemed relieved. Okay, good. That's good. We'll figure this out. She went back downstairs. I heard her put the food away, heard her turn on the TV, heard her scrolling through channels, probably trying to find something to distract herself. At 11 p.m., she went to bed. I waited until I heard her breathing even out. Then I carried my packed bags down to my car, quietly. 2 trips. I left them in the trunk. Back inside, I made coffee, sat at the kitchen table, waited. At 1:30 a.m., I checked Marcus's profile again. He'd posted a photo from the gym with a caption, "Tomorrow's a big day. Time to set some things straight." I almost laughed. He really thought he was about to what? Fight me? Win her back? This was going to be so much better than he imagined. By 6 a.m., Sarah's alarm went off. She came downstairs, showered, got dressed. I was still at the kitchen table, on my 3rd cup of coffee. "Did you sleep?" she asked. "No. We need to take care of yourself. This stress." "I'm fine." She made breakfast, toast and eggs, pushed a plate toward me. I ate because I needed the energy, not because I tasted anything. At 7:30, she left for work, kissed me on the cheek like always, like the past 2 days hadn't happened. "I love you," she said at the door. I didn't respond. She left. I went to my office, pulled out the divorce papers Mitchell had emailed me at midnight, printed 2 copies, signed both, put one in a manila envelope addressed to Sarah, put the other in a different envelope for my records. At 1:45 p.m., I got a text from an unknown number. "On my way. Hope you're ready." I wasn't sure if I was ready, but I was sure I was done being the person who didn't know his own life was falling apart. At 1:58 p.m., a silver Ford F-150 pulled into my driveway. Marcus Chen stepped out. He was exactly what I expected. 6 foot something, muscular, wearing a tight black t-shirt and jeans. He walked toward the front door like he owned the place. I didn't move from where I was standing in the living room, visible through the window, just watched him knock. Loud, aggressive knocks. The door opened, but it wasn't me who answered. It was Sarah. She'd come home from work early again, maybe worried about me, maybe guilty. Didn't matter. Her face, when she saw him, I'll remember that expression until I die. Absolute horror. Blood draining. Eyes going wide. Mouth falling open. "What are you?" she started. "Why are you here?" Marcus looked confused. "Your husband invited me." "My, what?" That's when I stepped into view behind her. "Actually," I said, my voice calmer than I thought possible, "my lawyer invited both of you, figuratively speaking." I held up the manila envelope. Sarah's hand went to her mouth. "Divorce papers," I said. "Already filed this morning with the Los Angeles County Superior Court. Case number FL 202249847. You'll need to sign your copy within 30 days or it proceeds as uncontested." Marcus was looking between us now, his confidence evaporating. "Wait, you said she told you she was single?" I asked. "Or separated? Or that I was crazy ex who wouldn't leave her alone?" His silence was answer enough. I handed Sarah the envelope. She took it with shaking hands. "The house is yours," I said. "Mortgage is $3,200 a month. HOA is another $400. Property taxes due in April. The Honda Accord is a lease with 7 months remaining at $420 per month. You maxed out the Visa and MasterCard last year to the tune of about $11,000. I've been paying the minimums. You can handle that now. All the financial documentation is in the envelope, along with the papers." Sarah was crying now. Full, ugly sobs. "You can't just—" "I already did. Consultation yesterday afternoon. Papers filed this morning at 9 a.m. The attorney's card is in the envelope if you want to contest anything. But I'm walking away from the house and taking my half of the savings. That's more than fair considering. I looked at Marcus, who seemed to have shrunk somehow. She's all yours, man, assuming you still want her, after discovering she's been lying to both of us. You said you were leaving him, Marcus said to Sarah, his voice cracking slightly. I was going to. When? Before or after? You begged me to go to counseling last night. Marcus took a step back. You said, it doesn't matter what she said, I interrupted. None of it matters anymore. I grabbed my laptop bag from the hallway where I'd strategically placed it, my car keys from the hook. I'd moved everything else yesterday. This was all that was left. Wait, Sarah grabbed my arm. Please, we can still fix this. I made a mistake. One mistake. Don't throw away 10 years because of one mistake. I looked at her hand on my arm, gently removed it. It wasn't one mistake, I said quietly. It was 20 mistakes, 20 conscious choices to lie to me, to sneak around, to build a whole separate life. You didn't slip and fall into this. You chose it every single time. I walked past both of them, got in my car, started the engine. Through the rearview mirror, I could see them standing in the doorway. Marcus was backing toward his truck. Sarah was calling after him. He wasn't stopping. My phone started buzzing before I even reached the end of the street. Sarah, Marcus, unknown numbers. I put it on silent and drove. My brother lived 40 minutes away in Riverside. I'd called him at lunch, given him the abbreviated version. He'd said 3 words, guest rooms ready. When I pulled up, he was on the porch. Didn't ask questions, just grabbed one of my bags and led me inside. Beer? He asked. Yeah. We sat on his back patio and didn't talk about it. Talked about baseball instead, about his new job, about nothing important. It was exactly what I needed. That night, in his guest room with the too soft mattress and the street light shining through the blinds, I slept 8 uninterrupted hours. No dreams, no panic, just deep, exhausted sleep. I woke up to 37 texts and 12 missed calls. I deleted all of them without reading a single one. Blocked Sarah's number, blocked Marcus's number, blocked 3 numbers I didn't recognize. Then I texted my boss, taking PTO for the rest of the week. Family emergency, will be available by email if critical. His response, take care of yourself, everything else can wait. The next 3 days were a blur. I met with Mitchell twice more, signed more paperwork, set up a new bank account, and transferred my half of our savings. Changed my direct deposit, changed my address for everything that mattered. My brother let me stay as long as I needed, but I didn't want to impose. On day 4, I started apartment hunting. Found a 1-bedroom in Pasadena, $1,800 a month. Small, quiet, a nice neighborhood with a coffee shop on the corner and a park 2 blocks away. I signed the lease on day 7, moved in on day 10. The apartment was empty at first, just my clothes, my laptop, and a TV I bought at Best Buy, but it was mine, entirely mine. No shared history, no ghosts. I started getting messages from mutual friends, people Sarah had clearly called, feeding them whatever narrative she'd constructed. I responded to exactly 2 of them, my college roommate Jake and my cousin Monica. Told them both the truth in about 3 sentences. Said I didn't want to talk about it more than that. They both replied with versions of understood and here if you need anything. Everyone else I ignored. On day 14, Jake texted me. Don't know if you want to know this, but heard through Beth, who heard from Amy, that Sarah and that guy tried to make it work. Lasted about 9 days before she caught him texting someone else. I stared at that message for a long time. Didn't feel good. Didn't feel vindicated. Just felt done. I replied, thanks for telling me. I'm good though. And I was. Not happy, exactly. Not healed, but good. Functional. Moving forward. I established routines. Worked from my new apartment. Went to the coffee shop every morning. Started running in the park. Downloaded a meditation app that I actually used. Went to a therapist that Mitchell had recommended, Dr. Yolanda Martinez, who specialized in trauma and betrayal. You're doing better than most people would, she said, in our 3rd session. I don't feel like it, I admitted. You're functioning. You're processing. You're not self-destructive or in denial. That's better than most. On day 23, I unblocked Sarah's number, not because I wanted to talk to her, but because I needed to see what she'd said, needed to know what narrative she'd been pushing. The messages were exactly what I expected. Begging at first, please answer, please talk to me, we can fix this. Then angry. You're being cruel. You're throwing away everything because you're too proud to work through this. Then desperate. I miss you. I miss us. I miss Baxter. Please come home. Then resigned. I signed the papers. My attorney is Kenneth Brooks. He'll be in touch with yours. The last message was from 3 days ago. I hope you're okay. I hope you find happiness. I'm sorry. I wasn't enough. I didn't respond. Blocked her again. Deleted the messages. On day 31, the divorce was officially in progress. 6-month waiting period. Mitchell said it was going smoothly. Sarah wasn't contesting anything. We'd divided everything per my initial offer. She kept the house. I kept my dignity. I bought furniture, a couch, a bed, a kitchen table, pictures for the walls, nothing with her in them, landscapes mostly, a print of the Golden Gate Bridge, a photo of Yosemite I'd taken on a solo camping trip years before I met her. On day 45, I went on a date. Nothing serious. A woman named Rachel I'd matched with on an app. She was a graphic designer. Funny, kind. We had coffee. She talked about her work. I talked about mine. We didn't go out again, but it was nice. Reminded me that the world kept turning. On day 60, I got a message from Mitchell. Opposing counsel confirmed all paperwork in order. Barring any complications, you'll be officially divorced by late May. 6 months from now. It felt both impossibly far away and surprisingly close. I'm sitting in my apartment now, 3 months after that message from Marcus. 3 months since my world imploded and rebuilt itself. The walls have pictures now. The fridge has food I actually want to eat. My couch has a throw blanket my brother's wife bought me. Small things, but they're mine. Baxter lives with Sarah. That was the hardest part, but she's the one with the yard, and I couldn't take that from him. I miss him. Miss his dumb face and the way he'd rest his chin on my knee while I work. But I don't miss her.